Welcome to Module 3, Episode 9. This episode is about the full life cycle of a real small piece of work, from a ticket someone wrote to a pull request someone else would review. This is a workflow that separates I played with AI coding tool from I use this professionally. You will start with a literal user story, have Claude Code read your code base for context, implement and test the change, and finish by opening an actual PR with the GitHub CLI. Every step here is something you could hand off to a teammate to review. That's the point. Let's take, for example, you have Jira. In that Jira, there is a ticket. And in that ticket, Sam will receive the text, what work it has to be done. Deals under $10,000 should skip the manual financing review entirely so reps can close faster. Notice that there is no ticketing system integration here, no Jira API call, no webhook pulling this in automatically. Sam just copies the ticket text and pastes it into Claude Code. That's deliberately the whole integration, and it's worth sitting with how unglamorous and reliable that is compared to wiring up a live API connection to a third-party tool. Let's copy this so that let me take you to VS Code. This is my VS Code. In this, let's start Claude. Let's wait for Claude to get started. So now I'll go back to presentation. Let's copy this. So as a developer, you will get a user story or a Jira ticket. You will copy that task and paste it onto the cloud. So I'm in the cloud terminal. Meanwhile, I've got a repo, MCP cloud. This repo is connected to the local folder, which is there in the VS Code. Let Claude find whether we have any existing code for financial review process or not. Here is the shape of the whole episode in 3 stages. Claude Code reads the relevant existing code for context first. It doesn't start writing blind. Then it implements the rule, writes matching tests, and runs them through the MCP server. And only once everything is green does it branch, commit, and open a pull request with command like ghpr create. GH is GitHub, and PR is pull request. This is the same shape you want from any competent engineer working with this ticket. The only thing that's changed is who is doing the typing. Quick honest aside here, because you have to understand that there could be community built MCP servers that connect Claude directly to Jira, Linear, GitHub issues, and similar tools. So it could theoretically pull the ticket automatically instead of you pasting it. This course deliberately doesn't teach a specific one of those because third-party servers outside Salesforce's own ecosystem can change or break without notice. And we want everything you learn here to still work from a year from now. If you want that integration, it's worth searching current documentation from whichever tracker your team actually uses. What we are teaching instead, pasting the ticket text directly is boring on purpose, and boring is exactly what you want in a workflow you depend upon. Now, this is the text that you're going to give it to the Claude with the verbatim and then ask Claude Code to look at financing eligibility service, describe the smallest correct change before writing any code. That last instruction is doing the real work. Asking for a plan before implementation gives you a checkpoint to catch a misreading of the ticket while it's still cheap to fix rather than discovering the misunderstanding after code and test are already written around it. Let's see what's going on in VS Code. Asking us permission. So let's say yes. Let's first read it. Okay, let's try to. So Claude is saying there is no opportunity trigger as of now. What it found is an approval process orchestrated by a flow. If you remember, we have done these in the previous episode. So just to reiterate these steps, what Claude has taken so far. Before proposing anything, Claude Code retrieves the current service and test class, also runs a quick SOQL query to see how many real opportunities in the org actually sit under the $10,000 threshold with a pending review. That second step is a nice touch worth calling out, and it's not just reading code, it's confirming the change has real current relevance in your actual data. The proposed plan is narrow and one early return branch and evaluate for deals under $10,000, leave everything else in the scoring logic completely alone. And 3 boundary tests and run the whole test class rather than just the new method. That last detail matters. Running the full class, not just a new test, catches any accidental interaction with the bulk discount tier. This is exactly the smallest correction change. This is the actual diff, a single new conditional block at the top of evaluate that short circuits to an auto approve result when the amount is under 10,000 returns before any of the existing scoring logic runs. Everything below that blocks, including the episode 8 bulk discount tier. This is minimal, low risk change and is easy to review in seconds because of how narrowly it is scoped. This one is about updating the Apex text. The matching rule the matching test check right at the boundary again. $9,999 auto approves. Exactly 10,000 still requires review. This boundary first testing habit should feel familiar by now. It's the same pattern from episode 8 and it's worth internalizing as a default expectation. Let's copy this and ask Claude to run. So we are asking Claude to run and let us know the test coverage. Let's see what is the coverage that Claude has returned. Still running the test coverage. It's like 72% in scope run. And in case we want to increase the test coverage, we can do that. Let's go back to presentation. Now, if all the tests are passed, like it says all 10 method passed over here, we will say create a feature branch and commit. Now, Let's see, let's go over here. We're just saying test a green, create a feature branch and commit. I'm just approving the request. It says that it has committed on this particular branch, auto approve under. I say yes, push, open a PR. Let's go back to presentation. So just to reiterate, only once tests are green, as a developer, you can ask Claude Code to create a feature branch and commit. Notice our branch name describes the Claude itself, not just a ticket number, which makes it far more readable months later in a branch list or PR history. This is cut from up-to-date main after the episode 8 work already merged in. So there is no risk of the two feature colliding. So these are the git commands which Claude Code is going to run, and it is staged exactly in two change files using a message describing what change and why drafted from the diff and the original ticket text. You still get a final say over the exact wording before it's returned to the history. Claude Code proposes it, you approve it. Good commit hygiene doesn't stop mattering just because an AI is doing the typing. And here's the payoff, push the branch, then use the GitHub CLI PR create with a title and a body summarizing the ticket, the test results, and the fact that no existing scoring path change. Let's look into the VS Code. Claude is saying that the GSCLI is not installed. Let me just look into this one. So I've installed that GSCLI. Let's submit the answer. So the expectation is Claude is going to create a PR. So now the Claude has created a PR. Now let's open the GitHub. Now just look into the PR, how detailed it is. Instead of just writing one line, Claude has written a very descriptive summary and test plan. And it is also said generated with Claude Code. So that's the power of using Claude Code for creating or committing and then opening a PR. Let's go back to presentation. So as you would have seen, the payoff is push the branch, then use the GitHub CLI create with a title and body summarizing the ticket, the test results, and the fact that no existing scoring path change. GH is a mature, well-established tool with no experimental integration risk. So again, this is that PR which has been opened. And if you see, it has a summary, it has a test plan also. And it says that what all tests have been. So as a tester also, as you are approving, you can say yes, yes. All of these have been tested. Going back to presentation. So PR you saw has a clear title description that actually explain the change instead of generic boilerplate and visible test results right where for a reviewer. Whether that reviewer is a teammate or just future you looking at this with fresh eyes tomorrow, this PR gives them everything they need to approve or push back in under a minute. If you're thinking, I'm the only developer here, why bother with a PR? This is the answer because a direct deploy to a shared org skips the one moment where you catch a bad assumption. Reading the diff code with fresh eyes one more time before it becomes permanent. There is also no diff trail to consult later if this quick fix turns out to cause a regression next month. A PR costs you almost nothing that buys you a real review checkpoint and it sets you up perfectly for CI gating you will add in module 4 without changing any of your habits. Let's recap. You took a plain text ticket, had Claude Code read the code base, and proposed the narrowest correct change, implemented tested it through MCP tools, and shipped it as a real viewable pull request. Next episode zooms in on the part of this loop that's easy to gloss over. What actually happens when these tests come back red? How you read a real Apex failure and how you make sure that fix that follows is a real fix and not a shortcut.